Right, so I judged this shirt on
Was Ireland. No offense, son.
No, none taken, sir. I grew up here. All I ever knew of Ireland was in the talk of the others of the orphan.
right, so it is extremely hard to know whether Bill the Butcher's hat is gossamer or not. I think it may contain gossamer because compared to some other hats, I actually think they used gossamer for quite a couple of hats, of top hats obviously, because historically gossamer was used for, even into the 20th century, for bicol. The military bicol hats, the military still wore bicol hats, also some servants or some other functions, and they still wore bicol hats and they were made with gossamer. Or even for some militaries for the tribal hat, and for civilian hats they only used it, at least for men, not very much for women, but for men they only use it for top hats really, or for the riding bowler hats. But since it is an open crown hat, for the lightweight town bowler hat they were always made out of no gossamer, simply a fur and or wool felt, simply a felt. Except if one wanted like a silk plush or even a fur plush bowler hat, but these were extremely rare, so never mind that. But now, basically, I'm really just talking about the top hats, now to have a variety of different styles. And clearly, so that character with this gold stovepipe hat, Bill the Butcher's gang, this is surely 100% sure, 100% felt. I have 99% sure beaver felt. Bill the Butcher, I think it may actually be gossamer, because I just observed the top, and I'm now talking about that hat that sold for $3,000, which is dark brown or medium brown, a tall stovepipe hat that he wears with a, it has, that one has a rather non-wide, not so wide hatband in a non-contrasting silk, and he wears it in this 45-minute scene, and 45 minutes into the film, they're walking outside in the 5 Points, and I think it looked quite flat on top, but I could not see from a zoomed in angle, the very top, so it was very hard to tell. Well, so for example, the Scammerhorns. I am 53 minutes into the film, exactly when Montgomery, whatever, the corrupted policeman who is friends with Bill the Butcher. He's about to tie his pocket watch to a lamppost, and there is the Scammerhorn, the fat man, the visiting, and I see his top hat, and I think it is a tall stovepipe hat, clearly in this typical shape and style of the I would say early 1860s. But after 1865, southern top hats decreased. They very reached their height by 1863. I read that somewhere. I think it was an original text scanned on the internet. By 1860, basically from the 1830s, especially 40s, southern top hats. They were always southern top hats were super popular. They had never been so popular, and so there were so many different styles. But one very popular style, especially amongst the higher classes, was tall, and it got taller and taller, and so by the 1850s they were wearing the stovepipe, and they still got taller, and the tallest worn by the tallest person, so even taller because the taller one is, the taller it has to be to look very tall. And so basically imagine these sorts of gangs, they're already called punks, that want to look exaggerated, that sort of want to bother polite society businessmen. They wear exaggerated, up to trendy clothing, so trendy that it is in fact not trendy, to sort of pull an ironical joke, to sort of almost make fun of themselves. And imagine those that wear the highest hats and are the tallest. Well, amongst them, the one that wears the highest, it might have been 60 centimeters tall. Now, 60 centimeters tall is 10 centimeters, which is that, than half a meter. So that ruler is 40 centimeters. So imagine that ruler plus my hand, this is 60 centimeters, absolutely humongous. But this was very, very rare. This would have been the most extreme of the most extreme of the most extreme. But anyhow, generally speaking, hats were still very tall. The common late 19th century, early 20th century top hats are max 20, they are more like 15 centimeters. If they are 20, they start being tall. Bill the Butcher is probably 25 centimeters. So already 30 is very long, 60 is humongous. Some characters there, never mind, but what I mean is this character, this Scammerhorn, has this typical shape of the period. It's clearly not a period hat, it is a copy. And I think it is made with gossamer because the top looks incredible. It seems to be very flat. So this could not be achieved. If it is neither like that, more like this, it means that if it simply holds flat, it means that it is a separate piece. And so if they make it with a separate piece, it means that it is actually a frame made out of gossamer. And then they add the plush or the fur or whatever it is that they laminate onto, as already explained. It is not simply a felt, whether it be a felt on a third or a felt with a plush. So now this is the difference. A felt is a dense texture that looks like a cloth, and a plush looks like silky. So when people call it for a fur coat, those silky-looking furry fur coats are actually made out of a plush. So it could be a plush of fur or plush of anything. It could be a felt of fur or a felt of wool or felt of anything. So the felt and plush are not. It is not equal wool. Wool is the original. Wool means a hair. Like linen is a plant. Cotton is a plant. Felt or plush would be the equivalent of saying satin. Satin is a type of weaving. Plush is a type of weaving. Felt is another type of weaving. So the same thing. Some fur coats, believe it or not, some fur coats look like that. This is a Handsworth wool, original 1910 frock coat. This is wool. But some fur coats, simply when looked at, it looks like that. It does not look like what you think of as fur. That would be a fur felt. like the fedoras that the gangsters wear. They were made out